to live by moonlight, where it's not a phase to play the quiet game as a means of survival. I wish my cat would do that. Today we are reviewing HBO's The Last of Us, namely episode 2, Infected.
We begin this episode with the revelation that the virus may have began somewhere in Indonesia before we fast forward to Tess, Joel, and Ellie making their way to the State House. As they move, they encounter clickers, former humans in their third stage of infection. It's here that Tess sprains an ankle and perhaps other things happen to her. At the State House, they discover that Firefly leaders have been infected and are dead, and that Tess has also been infected. As more infected arrive to take them out, Joel and Ellie must escape while Tess stays behind to torch them all. Whee! It's totally a fun and happy episode! Yay! Hello, my name is Kaitlin, and my chiropractor is the only medical professional that I trust.
Let alone the only man I trust. No, I'm just kidding. I'm Emberlin, and I just want to thank Kaitlin for protecting me from a bear in my dream last night.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and I want to thank Not My Brain for making the bear Moss from hit Playhouse Disney show Bear in the Big Blue House.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
I thought he was just Bear.
Yeah, I kind of did too. I googled it this morning because I was like, well, how do I describe him when I describe him to Kaitlin? And it just made more sense to say Bear in the Big Blue House. But yeah, his name's Moss.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's a cool name. Like, I dig it.
Moss. Oh, that's new to me. I was telling my brother about that you jumped about that, and he goes, Bear in the Big Blue House. I don't think I watched that. To which I said, huh? And he goes, what's it about? And I said, Bear in the Big Blue House. It has all of the information that you need in the title.
Yeah.
Like, how clear can I make this for you?
I forget that there's like a whole generation of people that probably hasn't seen Bear in the Big Blue House because I think we're like right at the cutoff and like, bruh, missing out. Jim Henson,
I was a little disappointed
giving
in him.
us the goods once again. So, Kaitlin,
yes,
last night's episode was another hearty, heavy one. Surprisingly not as like lighthearted as I thought it would be.
Weird,
yeah,
right?
Crazy for a show about the apocalypse to be like that.
Yeah. Slave on times.
What hooked you?
So I'm loving that we get to see the origins of the outbreak and the absolute terror of the people who discovered it in the show. And like the quiet fear in Ibu Ratna's like entire demeanor, the woman who like they bring in to the lab to like see the first, like one of the first infected people, her just like her facial expressions, like the absolute dread that came over her face was so like chilling to see, knowing that there's like nothing that can be done. And I just love that they're taking advantage of this television medium to expand the lore that we couldn't quite get like to spend time on in the game, and I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I feel like as was the case last episode, it still feels like we're kind of playing the game along with Joel and Ellie. That's like a big hook for this.
It's amazing. I love it. What was your hook?
For me, I'd say like the imagery. I mean, I think what's gonna make this show like one of the best of 2023 is the attention to detail, like the bullet in the middle of the head that the doctor observes, and like the fungus that comes out and the way it moves.
It was so gross.
So creepy. Ellie sleeping in the middle of the greenery, like the overhead shot, like when they're passing toward the State House through the open city, the little giraffe, the stuffed giraffe, like just lying on the ground. That made me so sad. The frog on the piano.
Let's give it up for Frog on the piano.
I feel like we need to insert air horns here or something. I love this motherfucker. Like, I'm gonna be thinking about him until I die. He is the moment. He is the movement. I love the frog on the piano.
Sing us the song. You're the piano frog.
Yeah. Honestly, just so many moments in this episode where I think if you're watching closely, you're not just like watching the actors. You're like, oh, whoa, look at that. You know, it's like going on a horrifying tour
That's great.
in like Disneyland, like a Disneyland ride that's just like, oh wow, they're dying. Yeah.
It was
But
great.
did you have any favorite quotes from this episode?
Yeah, I had a couple of them. The first, I feel like this was a really good episode to establish more of the dynamic between Joel and Ellie, and I think they did a wonderful job. One of my favorite moments was when Joel and Ellie are left alone together as Tess looks to find like a way out for them, and Ellie's just like flipping her knife, and Joel's like, "Oh, where'd you learn to do that?" And she goes, "The circus," and he just goes.
Yeah.
Like he's trying, but she's just giving him nothing, and like it's such a smart ass, and I love it. I liked "It's the long way or the we're fucking dead way," to which Ellie responds, "Well, I vote long way just based on that limited information."
Yeah, that's a good one.
I loved Tessa's line, "Save who you can save," really got me. Just based on like the fact that Joel kind of had to be put in check because like no matter what he did, Tess is already gone, doesn't matter, and like he has to focus on not wasting time and just get Ellie out of there. And I just felt like Pedro Pascal's acting in that moment was so good because it was so minuscule on his face. Like you just see like the very slightest change in his demeanor as like right before he turns to just like grab Ellie, and I know in that moment he was thinking about Sarah and was reminded of Sarah, and it just hurt me in the best worst way possible.
Yeah.
And finally, I'll probably talk a little bit more about this scene later on, but the lines between Joel and Ellie, "Is it everything you were hoping for?" And Ellie says, "Jury's still out, but man, you can't deny that view." I was yelling so much because it's that, the dialogue came right from the game. I was like literally like kicking my feet and like just jumping up in my seat as I was like watching it last night. But I'll definitely talk about it more when we get into Peaks and Valleys. But I just, good show.
Jolly good.
Jolly good show. What about you?
I just love all of Ellie's one-liners. She's so funny. I'm just like, the whole episode, I was just like chuckling because everything that's said is so funny. There's not going to be anything bad in here. And then Joel replies, "Just you." And she goes, "Oh, funny." And then, "Can I have a gun?" "Absolutely not." "Okay, Jesus, fine. I'll just have to throw a fucking sandwich at them." And then, of course, perhaps my favorite, "You're a weird kid." "You're a weird kid." Love that line. Like, love that interjection. You already see the chemistry between them, which is like, yeah, like, oh my gosh. Like, if I had any doubts that they were going to come into this and like you're going to have like a random guy paired with a random little girl duo and then it's not going to work out well, they've all been diminished. Not that I had said doubts, but if I did, I hope that episode melted your widow heart. So it's so good. Kaitlin, we unfortunately lost a sister in the fight this episode. What song would you play in Tess's memory?
First of all, pour one out for Tess. It still hurt knowing what was going to happen. But so for me, I don't know if it's just because I'm reading Daisy Jones and the Six right now, but I've been thinking a lot about Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks. And today, as of recording this, Stevie Nicks just released a cover of Buffalo Springfield's "For What It's Worth." And I feel like a lot of lyrics of that song reflect the world of The Last of Us. So I said that. And then also I would play "Sisters of the Moon" by Fleetwood Mac.
Did they just release that today? I literally feel like I've heard that.
Yeah, well, it's a song that already existed, but Stevie Nicks
I know, it's one
released.
of my favorites.
Yeah,
but
she released a cover of it.
Yeah, I feel like I've already heard the cover of it. Like,
oh, has she done it before?
Yeah, that's so weird. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just in my head. But I almost maybe I dreamed it. I feel like I'm having some weird dreams lately. But when you said that, I was like, oh, today? I feel like I literally feel like I just it's in my. I just found it like a couple of months ago. Maybe it was somebody else who released a cover. But yeah. So
oh
me,
no, I'm stupid.
Huh. Oh,
you're right.
Stupid.
It wasn't today. Yes, it is. Yes, I am. It wasn't today. I just looked at this. Okay, so the date was September 23rd, 2022. And maybe it's because we're watching The Last of Us, and I'm pretty sure the date of the outbreak was like September 23rd. And I'm like, yeah, that's today. I don't know what day it is. It's January.
There you go. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess that validates things for me because I was like, did I just make that up and then manifest it into existence? Because that'll be like the third time this week that I've accidentally manifested something into existence that I didn't ask for.
No, I just don't have any concept of time. So I take it back. Stevie Nicks did not release that today. She released it in September of last year. But anyway, I just heard it today. And I just feel like that song works.
Yeah. And also, when you think about it, isn't it always kind of September? Like, has September really ended if we haven't woken up Billy Joel Armstrong yet?
That's true.
No. Yeah. So, for me, I feel really bad about this, but the whole episode, like, not the whole episode, but right at the very end when we lose Tess, I feel kind of insensitive about this, but I had Bye Bye Little Sebastian in my head this morning while this was all happening. Like, I don't know why I'm kind of, like, not even Candle in the Wind, like, nothing that would make more sense, just that. And I feel kind of embarrassed, but that was it. That was the song.
That's hilarious. Is it because of the Amy Poehler, Audrey Plaza thing on SNL?
I'm thinking, that's what I think, is that's why it was just kind of going through me, but I also was like, this is a great song about loss, man. R.I.P. Little Sebastian, you would have loved HBO's Last of Us. But then, I also just get this vibe from Tess that she likes some Joan Baez or some Joni Mitchell, so I'd play Donna Donna by the former,
nice.
In other words, not Joni Mitchell, Joan Baez.
In other words, not Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
I love that for you. So, is there a character that you would give a little boost to?
Yeah, probably Tess because of the whole being murdered thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's... Yeah. But also, I'm going to reiterate, maybe for the first of the second, I guess, of, like, a million times this episode, the frog on the piano. Give this man a speaking role. Stop silencing good young creators.
He speaks through his music.
Well, I want at least one quote from him that I can use, like, for the rest of my life.
Ribbit.
And remember, yeah, like, fucking bring me more frog on the piano.
More frog on the piano, HBO.
More frog on the piano. If the next episode, I know what the next episode is called, but I wish, if the fourth episode is not titled Frog on the Piano, then there's going to be some hell to pay, and I mean that.
I believe you. I completely believe you. Standout character.
How about you? Who would you give a little boost to?
I mean, also Tess. Anna Torv was so perfect as that character. I feel like she just brought a lot more life to Tess too than we got from the game. I felt it's funny because in the game I feel like you don't have Tess for that long, and then all of a sudden she's gone and you're just like, no, I just got her. And it felt like even quicker, obviously in the television show, because they're not spending all their time going through all these different buildings or, you know, seeing what they can find in every little corner of the street. So I'm just like, wow, she's already gone. I was hoping for at least 3 episodes with her, but it made sense.
Yeah.
How they pushed some of the story forward, but she was so good. So good. And the whole scene was just so painful to watch, and I feel like that it just adds to the fact that we see her die not from Fedra officers like it was in the game, but from the infected themselves, which is so much worse because she literally got a kiss of death. What the hell? Like, that was terrifying. And I love how we get to see, like, all of the infected close up like this, but oh my god, I was like, how is she, like, I was gonna say, like, not shitting herself, but she probably was. Like, terrifying. So I'm glad that we had the time with her that we did, but woof, that hurt. Wasn't ready.
It's fucking sad. It also, I think, speaks to the fact this show seems to love giving you a character and being like, oh, this is a character that's going to be here for a long time. You're going to like them. And then, like, immediately going like, no, they died! Like,
just kidding.
Like, it's like when you're like, oh, you're a little kid, and you're like, oh, I got my Barbie, I love my Barbie. And then you throw it, like, down the stairs, and you're like, just kidding. Character death.
I hate Barbie now.
Instant character death in this game of Barbie that I'm playing. Yeah. what did you think of the introduction of the clickers?
Oh, it was so cool. It was so cool. It was so cool. It was so cool. It's so cool. Oh, that's so good. I was so annoying last night. So apologies to both my dad and my brother. But I kept going, this looks so good. It looks so good. Guys, look at this. Like, both of them who have also played the game and know how cool it looks. I'm just like, but look at it. It's just like the game. I think my favorite part of that whole scene was when the clicker was, first of all, the movements are perfect. And just hearing the sound, it's like, I hate like repetitive little noises like that. That's why I hate the clickers so much in the game. So anytime I'd hear them, I'd be like, meh. But when the clicker was like, we see them like kind of out of focus, like slowly coming up, and Joel's around the corner, like quietly trying to reload his gun. And then like we get like a slow zoom in on Joel as he's doing that, but then it pans over and the clicker's right there. Perfection. Oh my God.
Right.
So good. Also, I'm not even joking. When when the clicker jumped on Joel and Ellie, I literally, like, my thumb was like automatically like pressing square to get it off of them. I like was like doing little thumb movements. I'm like, I gotta get him off. It was so, they're doing so good. And the sound effects of everything, so cool, so cool. What did you think?
Oh, but the sound effects are super creepy. I thought Jackie Kennedy was up in that bitch. And I feel bad saying this because I don't really think that about Jackie Kennedy personally. I think she's like a beautiful woman. But
for the meme,
the TikTok, for the TikTok sound when you first started to get the little, I was like, that sounds like that TikTok sound. Like
Jackie,
they said copy paste. I was like, oh. Okay. But yeah, they were really creepy and spooky and ooky. And I was watching this show at like 6 a.m. today, and I was just like, and when you first hear the one go, you're like, I was like, oh hell no, what have I done? It is too early and dark for this. Like, what am I doing? It was just not a good feeling, not a good vibe. Great job.
10 out of 10, don't recommend.
Yeah.
It's so I love hearing them in the distance, and I also liked when they were on the bridge and you just hear like the scream of one of the infected from the distance, and I was like, nice.
Yeah.
Let's
get
out of there.
Oh boy. Like,
ooh.
Yeah, no. I was like, oh, Boston's different than I remember it being in my 10th grade trip. It's a different place now. Shit.
Suddenly I don't want to visit Boston ever again. Weird.
So, Kaitlin, I can't believe we're already talking about it, but it's come to that moment in the
Here we are.
In the epi. Peaks and valleys. What is your first peak?
All right, I've already kind of touched on this, but the scene where they're looking at the state house was so perfect. Oh my God. The dialogue, the same. The framing, the same. The look down at the watch, I'm emotional all over again. I was literally, I'm not even joking, kicking my little feet. I had my notebook to take notes, and I like threw it onto the couch, and I was like jumping up and down, and like, again, apologies to my dad and brother for being like, it's just like the game, it's just like the game, it's just like the game. I was like freaking out over it. And why I love this scene so much is because when I was first playing the game, I know I'm like so annoying. I'm like, have I mentioned that I played the game? But like, like we fucking get it. But anyway, when I was first playing the game, up until this point, I was like so badly hoping for Joel and Ellie to bond because boy howdy do I love a good found family trope. And this was the first moment in the game where you really see Joel kind of allow himself to bond with her in such a small way. And like the way he's like looking at her is like, you're like, ooh, does Joel like care about her? Because up until this point, he's just like snarky with her, whatever, which is still great. But I love a good emotional connection. Yeah. And it's the first time like he looks at her and sees her and is amused by her. So when he looks at his watch because he's thinking of Sarah, tears. And when I was watching the scene, I was like, look at your watch, look at your watch, look at your watch. And then he did, and I was like, ah! he did it. It's just so good, and it makes me so excited for more moments that are to come between them, and just seeing like their bond grow and their dynamic just grow. Oh, they like Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey are doing Joel and Ellie so much justice. Cannot stress enough how good they are. I'm having a great time.
I think that's a really good peak, and it was something I built into my second peak that I'll talk about now as my first peak. But Joel glancing at his watch, that's like exceptional detail, you know? Like, and when he chooses to do it, like right after he has this interaction with Ellie, like that's how you know where this is going. Like, I feel like every episode, if they don't give us like a flashback, they're just gonna give us a little like sprinkly winkly of like him bonding with Ellie in a way that reminds him of Sarah. Yep. And that's gonna hurt my body a lot. But yeah, the peak I'm describing is more about like how much I appreciate the detail in the show. And I already talked about how the imagery really hooked me this episode. I was really intrigued by just all of the little details you see when you are watching and you're not paying attention to the actors. So for example, I think in the very beginning when Ellie's sleeping in the field, they might be in like a salon or something like that, something beauty related, because there's all these posters on the wall of women, but they're all covered up by dirt and grime and mold, but you can still see them, so it just looks like these like faces in the wall. Or when you see like, I'm trying to think of a good example because I just blanked. Sorry, Manny's over here.
No,
like,
you're okay.
He's over here making a lot of noises inside of a laundry basket. It doesn't matter how many expensive toys you get your cat. Whatever you have in your house already is already enough for them, is what I learned about a year ago.
Yeah, they don't care about what you spend money on.
But yeah, just I think attention to detail in this show is really special. Here he goes. I wish we did this as a video podcast just so you could see him skidding around in the background. It's kind of horrifying. Like, talk about really scary things creeping up on you. There's one.
There's one. It's just Manny in the background slowly coming up.
Talk about who you think patient zero might have been in this outbreak. I've got a suspect for you, and he's in the room with me right now. So
rip Emberlin.
Yeah. Detail was a big thing for me, and that's it.
Well, a detail that I noticed was, so in the first episode when Joel and Ellie are in like Joel's like little room together and she's sitting by the window, there's like a butterfly charm hanging in the window that she's sitting next to, and then in the first shot of Ellie there's like a little butterfly that like floats across her.
Yep. And
I just want to say that if you know what that signifies, you know.
I don't know what that was interesting. But I think that's cool. I think that's cool.
It's something I know, so I was like, wait a minute, isn't this? And then I was like frantically Googling to make sure I was right, and I was like, oh, nice. So I think that's a really cool detail.
So what was your second peak?
My second peak was, again, all the nods to the gameplay were so cool. I've never been so excited about flashlights in my entire life. But I just loved how they're like still like they're adapting a video game, but they're still making certain scenes like feel like you are playing the game. Like we talked about the whole car sequence in the first episode, and with this I really liked some of the elements, like Joel gives Tess a boost so she can go around and find them like another way to get out of the building. His reloading the ammo at the most inopportune time was perfect. When he bandaged Tess's wounds, or like her foot, just Joel and Ellie crouching, I was like, wow, we did that. And then the like all the dialogue again, right from the game. Like, it was great. I even like that not only are they taking dialogue from the cutscenes, but they're taking it from the gameplay as well. So like when Ellie was doing her whole like pretend to be a hotel guest bit, that was all right from the game, because I loved those moments because you really see Ellie as, again, just a kid, and it was just such a cute little moment. So I love that they included that, and then just calling her a weird kid was so perfection. I love it. I love it so much. It's making me insane.
Yeah, I feel like there are so many little details in this show that um, you can appreciate if you've played the game, and then maybe if you haven't. I feel like, for example, what you're saying about the butterfly has a deeper meaning for people who've played the game and probably maybe will later on. But for me, it was just kind of cool just to see how these little symbols, they're already coming back and we're already seeing how they're relevant. So
Yeah.
I love that. For me, my second peak was most certainly the set design, and I guess on that note, also like all special effects. I talked last week about how the skyscrapers are amazing in this and really cool and spooky. And I reiterate that the open city is such a fucking dope place. It's spooky.
Mm-hmm.
It it makes Boston look terrifying. And I do think there's something really jarring about that, about the prospect of society becoming so far gone from something so small. That there could be a time when the world looks like this. And I don't mean that like conspiratorially, but I mean that like in the sense of like global warming. But I really enjoyed that, and I saw that again, I think, and I really appreciated it when they were playing when they were playing inside the museum, because that's what it feels like. But when they were moving through the museum, because you have all these American artifacts, they're now obsolete, and I think it's such a heavy thing to watch a show about the apocalypse, because it requires you to think about everything that gets lost or becomes obsolete the moment something of this magnitude happens. So I really appreciated that. It gave me a really uneasy feeling. So, Kaitlin, what are your valleys, if you have any, for this episode?
My valley, it would be that they really made me watch Tess get the kiss of death from the infected, and made her death scene 10 times worse than it was in the game. And if that's what they did to amp up this one scene, I'm absolutely terrified. And by terrified, I mean excited to see what they're going to do for later scenes. I thought it was a really cool detail. It especially, like, what I loved about it is that we got more emotion from the whole scene, which, like, the emotion was there in the game too, but, like, you know, there's only so much, like, expressions you can have from a video game character.
Right.
Especially when it came out in 2013, I believe it was. So, like, being able to see more of that emotion play out across Joel's face and in turn, like, Tess's face, like, again, Anna Torv did such a good job. Like, she was amazing, and I am definitely going to be going through her entire IMDb profile, because I want to see more of her, because I've never seen her in anything up until now. So I thought she was great, and then just the frantic, like, trying to light the lighter to blow everything up, but she couldn't get it, and, like, just not being able to go anywhere but be backed up against that pole as this infected, like, literally kisses you to bite you, and it was horrible and terrifying. And again, like, the fungus, like, coming out of their mouths is disgusting. But it was really cool, but oh my god, it hurt so bad. So that was hard to watch.
Yeah,
but
I feel
also
like,
loved it.
I feel like this hits so different than, like, oh my god, like any other zombie material I've seen or anything like that, because just of the way that the people who are playing these infected folks, like, their movements, like their body movements,
I feel like there's, like, more stakes here than, I guess, like, the most obvious comparison would be to, like, The Walking Dead, where it's like they run into so many different zombies that it's like, oh my god, how are you even surviving right now? Whereas, like, you watch this and they're like, yeah, you don't survive, you just get lucky really, or you just don't get out of your house or something, because it just immediate, like, panic every time they go out or are around infected is, like, crazy.
Yeah, I find it much creepier than, like, the spores in the game. Like, it's just the way they move, the way they communicate. Ugh, like, didn't know fungi could be so scary. As somebody who loves a good mushroom, I'm kind of like, No.
Will no longer be playing as Toad in Mario Kart from now on.
um. So,
What was
my
your
valley, yeah, my valley was that I watched this at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning. It says Wednesday in my notes, so that's kind of where I am.
Yeah.
But I was like nauseous beyond belief from my iron pills, and I like just really deeply regret that choice.
I'm so sorry.
Because it was like, oh, just like the way those spores move, it's just not for me. Like, that's I was sitting there just like holding a piece of toast, and I was just like shaking my head, like why did I do this? Like, oh my god. But yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It gives me horse lip. Like, no.
So, moving on from the grossness that you had to experience at 6 a.m. this morning, what thing are you the saddest that Joel and Ellie missed because of the apocalypse, given that it broke out in 2003?
I'd say the Tati Westbrook, James Charles, Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson drama, because I think it was a cultural reset for society, and I'll probably be thinking about it for the rest of my life because, like, you just had to be there. Like,
yeah,
I think it devastates me to think that there's like a world where that doesn't exist, where that just never happens, and it just needs to be. It needs to like, in every timeline. It needs to happen. Like, if I had the opportunity to like go to Comic-Con and talk to whatever dude is filming the next Marvel movie, who was involved in Phase 3, and be like, okay, but in one of these universes, or at least all of them, does this drama occur? And if you were to say no to me, bad day at Comic-Con for a lot of people. Bad day. Like, not going to be a good day for a lot of people at Comic-Con, because I'm going to be screaming and crying a lot. Publicly, openly. So that's mine. What's yours?
Mine would be the Ever Given being stuck in the Suez Canal.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I feel like Ellie would have loved that shit. She would have thought that was so funny. She'd be cracking jokes about it. She'd be making those memes about it.
Yeah, she would. Yeah.
It's also just one of my, like, I know it caused issues, but like, it was one of the funniest things to ever happen, I think, in my life. Like, it's just stuck there. And then it happened again. Yeah. Like, another spot. I just think it's funny. I can't even, like, describe why I think it's funny. It just is. And to think that there's a world where that didn't happen and they didn't get to experience the hilarity of there being a website called Is the Boat Still Stuck?
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Quite unfortunate. So
very sad.
I'm sad for them, but I'm happy for us.
It's a bit devastating.
Yeah.
Kaitlin, on a scale of 1 to 5 times that you said, it's just like the game, how do you rate this episode?
I'm gonna say 5 out of 5 times. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 is how many I am giving it. And definitely.
And is that how often you said that during the episode, or were there additional times you said that?
I definitely said it way more than 5 times. The fact that I wasn't kicked out of the room is lucky for me because, well, I'm annoying. But yeah, 5 out of 5. I'm going insane. Will I rate every episode 5 out of 5? Probably. I genuinely can't get over how well they are adapting this to television. Like, it just makes me so happy. And also, I was talking to my dad this morning about this, how happy I am that I know what happens because it takes the stress out of it. Because I feel like every Sunday night I just be stressed to be like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And whereas like last night I'm like, I know exactly what's gonna happen. Let's go. And then like you see it played exactly how you know it is, and you hear the same dialogue from it. It's perfection. So 5 out of 5. We're going strong. Have yet to find something I don't like about this show. I know it's only episode 2, but it's great. It's great. I'm having a good time. I mean, like, I'm crying, but I'm having a good time.
Yeah, it sounds like you're having a good, fun, sad time.
It's
sad
great.
Because of the tears.
I've never been so excited to be devastated all over again.
Yeah.
What about you? What did you rate it?
I'm going to say 4 out of 5. I'm going to take a point away for the morning sickness, which is not the show's fault. But I also think they should have kept Tess around a little longer, just for my viewing and pleasure, and so I could bond with her a little more before they said bye, Tess. So, that's it for me. Otherwise,
Nice.
I really enjoyed this episode. I think it's gonna be hard for me not to be objective. It's gonna be hard for me to be objective, rather, because I think the quality is so good, and because I'm already really enjoying like a lot of the cinematography and like the attention to detail and some of the directing choices that have been made. So, yeah, great show so far. I'm excited.
A good time all around.
And a good time all around. I think there should still be more Frog on the piano, but
of course.
fine. It's fucking. Give him a spin-off. Give him a spin-off. Give him a spin-off.
I want to see like it's a musical episode of The Last of Us, but it's just the frog on the piano.
Yeah, just like the frog in Over the Garden Wall. Maybe they're the same person. Maybe this is just a new job for him. Yeah, maybe he takes a lot of different jobs. And some of them are animation, and some of them are in scary apocalyptic shows. Anyway, thank you for listening to Live by Moonlight. Tune in next time when we review episode 3 of The Last of Us. Long, long time.
It's been a long, long time. Bye!
Bye.